Good morning, good morning, good morning again. Today I want to look at the first part of a story, an incident that we can draw lessons from. So I want to look at the first part this morning. I'm drawing my lesson from the book of First Samuel, chapter 4. First Samuel, chapter 4. And I want to read in your hearing verses 1 to 11. And I read. Now the Israelites went out to fight against the Philistines. The Israelites camped at Ebenezer, and the Philistines at Aphek. The Philistines deployed their forces to meet Israel, and as the battle spread, Israel was defeated by the Philistines, who killed about 4,000 of them on the battlefield. When the soldiers returned to camp, the elders of Israel asked, "Why did the Lord bring defeat upon us today before the Philistines? Let us bring the ark of the Lord's covenant from Shiloh, so that it may go with us and save us from the hand of our enemies." So the people sent men to Shiloh, and they brought back the ark of the covenant of the Lord Almighty, who is enthroned between the cherubim. And Eli's two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, were there with the ark of the covenant of God. When the ark of the Lord's covenant came into the camp, all Israel raised such a great shout that the ground shook. Hearing the uproar, the Philistines asked, "What's all this shouting in the Hebrew camp?" When they learned that the ark of the Lord had come into the camp, the Philistines were afraid. "A god has come into the camp," they said. "We are in trouble. Nothing like this has happened before. Woe to us! Who will deliver us from the hand of these mighty gods? They are the gods who struck the Egyptians with all kinds of plagues in the desert. Be strong, Philistines, be men, or you will be subject to the Hebrews as they have been to you. Be men and fight." So the Philistines fought, and the Israelites were defeated, and every man fled to his tent. The slaughter was very great. Israel lost 30,000 foot soldiers. The ark of God was captured, and Eli's two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, died. Today, I want us to think about this and to understand this. Nothing, nothing can substitute for your own personal relationship with God. Here it is, the Israelites decided that they were going to take the Ark of the Covenant into battle with them in the belief that God would go with them. Now, I want you to understand this. God's presence was manifested above the ark. There was a light shining above the ark. You could read about it in Exodus when the tabernacle was set up. There was God's genuine presence was manifested above the ark. But the Israelites did not have a relationship with God. They thought that they could take the symbol of God's presence into battle with them to help protect them and to give them victory. I want you to understand this morning, students, that you cannot take symbols of God's presence into your life, into this battle called life, and expect God's protection and expect victory. Nothing but your own personal relationship with God can protect you. So I want to encourage you to develop your own personal relationship with God. Don't try to take your parents' relationship with God. Don't try to take your activity in church, holding church office. Probably you may be an AY leader. Probably you may be the devotional leader. Probably you may be a Sabbath school secretary. Probably you may be whatever office you hold. Don't think that the office you hold is sufficient to give you victory in life. Israel made the serious mistake of thinking that without following God's will and without their own relationship with Him, They could take the ark into battle and get victory. And they were so wrong. At the start of the battle, they lost 4,000 men. They brought the ark in, and the result was 30,000 foot soldiers were killed. Don't try to take anything but a personal relationship with God into battle. Not church office, not church activity, not your parents' relationship with God, not your parents' standing with God, not, not any symbol. Not any symbol of God's presence will do. Only your own personal relationship with God would do. And that is how you will gain the victory. So, my prayer for you today is that you develop your own relationship with God. Get to know God yourself, nobody else's relationship, no other activity, no other correct church thing can bring you victory. God bless you.